So a South African Airways charter aircraft that has been grounded in Poland since Thursday afternoon is yet to leave Warsaw Airport. The plane is carrying members of the South African media and President Cyril Ramaphosa's security detail, who are en route to peace talks between African leaders, as well as Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky. We are now joined by Jed, a Polish foreign policy expert, to help us make sense of what could be the reasons for the hold-up. Jed, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Perhaps let's start here. Is this something that you have witnessed since the war began? There's been a number of world leaders that have visited Ukraine going via Poland. Have they experienced such problems?
I'm not aware of a similar situation. Well, yes, Poland is a main transit route to reach Kiev. Into Kiev, so you need to take a train, ideally going to Kiev. So this unfortunate situation is something of a surprise to everyone, I believe.
What is it that you are hearing, at least, in terms of the reasons from authorities?
Well, here in Poland, I mean, the picture is quite clear, and there are no other explanations than that this is an unfortunate issue that came out of some administrative issues. There is no bad will on any side. It's probably, I mean, the explanation that we are hearing is that there were, I mean, the arms that the security team for the presidency were carried were not properly registered in advance, and that the idea that originally the plane was supposed to go to Rzeszów, which is close to the Ukrainian border, and all the clearances were made for that route, while it eventually landed in Warsaw, which I mean, complicated the situation. So there is clearly full support on behalf of the Polish authorities for the mission. Poland would like to facilitate it and would like to help African leaders and South African leader to have a chance to have exchanges with Ukrainian leaderships in Ukraine. And I believe the situation will be solved as soon as is possible. And it shouldn't have any impact on our relations.
I'm sure you'd appreciate that some would find it difficult to believe that there's no ill will. While we can explain away why the President's protectional services have been delayed, how then do we explain media personnel being delayed? Again, is this something that has been seen when other heads of states from around the world have visited the region?
Well, as far as I'm aware, there's no blockades to the media people. As far as I'm aware, the hotel option was always open for them to go. So I mean, they're on the same plane, and as plane is grounded, everyone is grounded as well. So there is definitely no, I mean, intention to keep journalists, stranded.
Okay. You were explaining a little bit earlier on about the train trip. Unfortunately, the connection was not that strong. If we can go back to that point, we've been running visuals on the channel of the presidents from Senegal, South Africa as well, the Comoros, and another president from the continent that were huddled in a train. That's not unusual. Please explain the route for us. So when you get to Poland, how do you get to Ukraine?
Well, Ukraine, is facing constant threats of bombardment from the air from Russia. That is why there are no flights operating into Kiev. So the only relatively safe route to take is by train from Poland into Kiev, and this is a route all the leaders of other countries who travel to Ukraine usually take. So whether those are leaders of the European Union, whether it was the President of the United States or other leaders of states and organizations, they all travel by train and by pretty much the same train. So the African leaders joined the club of the most important and powerful global figures who want to maintain direct contact with the Ukrainian leadership by taking this train and by somehow experiencing hardships of that Ukraine is undergoing.
Okay. And then when we speak of the peace mission itself, has this been seen as a welcome move there?
Well, of course, it's the main component of the mission and of the talks that the leaders are to engage in. Probably and most likely be focused on grain and on fertilizers, which are to ease the food crisis on African continent, and this is very, very welcome. In terms of peace, in terms of ceasefire or ending fighting, there is clear understanding in Ukraine and in Poland that the goal should not only be peace achieved by freezing the status quo, but by achieving a just peace, which requires Russia's withdrawal from the occupied territories of Ukraine, and compensating for the damage that they have done. It's a little bit like with the burglar. Imagine a burglar entering your house, and in the middle of the process of robbery, there is someone intervening and saying, "Okay, let's stop." So you stay in the living room, you keep the TV and you keep the computer, and let's stay like that. That's okay. No, it's not okay. It's okay when the burglar leaves your house and when you are secure that he will not come back. So this is the optics of that Ukraine has, and this is the optics that Poland shares. That until there is a proper guarantee that Russia leaves territory of Ukraine and would not come again with their aggression, then everyone will be more than willing to talk about settling, a lasting, to setting new relations. But as for now, it's not the right moment to call for ceasefire in the moment where Ukraine is defending itself from aggression.
Fair enough. You speak of optics, and there's been a ripple effect in this country, or the continent at least, when it comes to the grounding, if we can go back to that point of that SAA flight there in Poland. What are the optics of that?
Well, I mean, it's the situation is unfortunate, and it's going to be solved, I believe, as soon as possible. South Africa is our main, from Polish perspective, is the main trade partner on the continent. Is a country which brings a lot of investments into Poland, in construction sector, in manufacturing sector. We have quite a lot of South African investments here in Poland. Last year we celebrated the 30th anniversary of our diplomatic relations. So apart from having differences in views on the war in Ukraine, we have a robust, trades, business and political relations, which are highly valued here in Poland. When you ask someone in Poland about Africa, the first country to think of would be South Africa. So there is understanding that this incident is very unfortunate. That we should overcome it as soon as possible and continue with good relations that we used to have.
Thank you so much for your time this afternoon, Jed. We really appreciate it.